ballet is about rule and discipline, but Nureyev was determined to play by his own rules, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was very dedicated to the discipline of ballet. He's also wanted to advance the male role in ballet, which was the dominant role was the woman, the ballerina, and the man was traditionally the supporting presence. So he pushed against that. I think he was highly individual. He had a real sense of how can things be pushed further. A true artistic spirit, which is to break down or question the received wisdom or the received opinion, to challenge. But also he was trained in a very, very, very precise a ballet tradition, imperial ballet tradition that the Soviet regime had co-opted for itself. So I think a ferocious and difficult, contradictory man who provokes different responses in people. But I love that. For me, he's a character rich in his sort of fire to realize himself.
Now, you were very much, really, I saw your character as Nureyev's best friend, really, in Paris. Is that how you saw her?
I met her, to be honest, because, yeah, she's living, and she's still living really good. And I had to get inspired by how she was dealing with the grief. And it's true that Nureyev was someone like would just bring her back to life, because every risk and his way of fighting fear was something would just like keep her breathing, and his way of wanting to learn everything was you want to be a part of it, you want to make the road with him. So yeah.
What was that like then, meeting her?
Sorry?
You met the Claire.
It's always really impressive to meet someone when you know that you're gonna not stall but like
represent her.
Yeah. But she was so sweet. Like she really acted like a mother or grandmother. She had a lot of, I don't know the word in English, but bienveillance.
Benevolence?
It's when you only have good stuff for someone.
Yes, benevolence. Yes.
Okay, benevolence. I'm going to use it for the rest. So
and you're working with an outstanding actor, but now an outstanding director, Ralph Fiennes. What was that like working with him?
It was so good because he's someone really involved with a lot of precisions. He doesn't miss anything, and he really like witness every one of your whisper, gesture, and he's feeding you a lot. And he's funny actually. I mean, everyone is like, yeah, Ralph Fiennes is serious, but for me, you have like a really deep fantasy that you wanna share.
What a marvelous opportunity for any actor's career to play the part of Nureyev.
Да, потрясающая возможность у вас была, как у танцора, сыграть Nureyeва.
Yes, of course. This is once a time in your life you take this chance.
Nureyev was a very complicated man. He wasn't necessarily. He was a loner. Was he difficult? Was that difficult to play and get the balance, because he was very demanding as well, wasn't he?
Да, Nureyev был очень сложный человек. Он был, в общем-то, одиночкой и очень требовательным. Это сложно ли было найти вот баланс, найти сочетание всех этих качеств в роли?
Yes, because he has a strong spirit, yeah, and он не подпускал никого ближе к себе.
Yeah. He didn't allow anyone close to him.
Yeah, and because I'm soft, you know, I'm every time smile and that's great. And after movie, I am stronger too, and I feel how I change it. Yeah, this is Nureyev helps me.
And was your background in acting, or was it dance in the beginning?
Вы танцор, да, или актер изначально?
Yes, I'm dancer. I'm dancer, yeah.
To now be able to change and perform and to become another person and represent them, was that a challenging? Was that challenging to pull off?
Да, насколько было сложно перевоплотиться в другого человека?
Было сложно перевоплотиться.
It was challenging, difficult.
Потому что раньше я только танцевал, но не говорил, а сейчас я еще и говорю.
Because previously I only danced without speaking, now I had to speak.
И это самое первое, что меня поменяло.
Yeah, that was the first thing that changed me a lot.
There's a, I would say, kind of a love triangle from your character, isn't there?
My character,
See that she.
wife of Nureyev teacher, and she tried to teach Nureyev not only for the ballet lessons, and also for the life. I mean, she want to give him, she want to give to Nureyev much more sensitive understanding what means the life.
Yes, actually, that's a very good point, isn't it? Really, because she really did nurture him, didn't she? She nurtured, made food, and as well, because he was a very complicated character and almost a loner, wasn't he?
Yeah, but she was much older.
A proper life lesson.
Yeah,
And what was it like working with Ralph?
it was great. It's just one word. It was great and joyful and bright. Yeah.
To compose a score for the story of Rudolf Nureyev must be a dream come true, really.
In one sense, it's also incredibly daunting because you're writing music that's side by side literally with Tchaikovsky and all the other great composers, and that's kind of terrifying. That's a lot to live up to. It could really make your stuff not look good. So I really hope it stands up to it.
And when you're working on a film like this, that dance is obviously at the heart of the film, as well as the story of a person. Were you around to see the dancing and the movement, and to see how you can choreograph your music to the movement? If you see what I mean.
I totally. I mean, we did pre-records, but I think really the important bit for me was that dance was always a part of my life. My mother was a ballerina, and in the year running up to working on this film, I wrote 2 ballets myself. And so I was, in the studio with dancers, and I worked with Johan, who choreographed a lot of the material for the film. So being involved in the world of dance was I think an important thing to know to be able to get to the film.
And we also see 2 sides of Nureyev's life as a child and as obviously as an adult. How did the music change for you to reflect? Because visually it's in a different tone as well, isn't it?
Totally. The music mostly fell into exactly those 2 categories. For me, it was about where he was coming from, which is this poor kid growing up in a bleak part of Russia, and where he's going to, and Paris. At least for me, my understanding of the stories is that that's what Paris represented. He arrives in Paris and it's this whole other world, right? It's just inspiring and beautiful and incredible. It's like nothing he's seen before, and so he's. That's the other piece of music, where he's going to. That's the only way I can put it.